I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the 356th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Welcome. It is here, folks. Welcome. Tonight, if you're watching live, is Monday, December 23rd, 2024, which officially makes tonight Christmas Eve's Eve. Christmas Eve's Eve, the eve of Christmas Eve. I had a group of friends, which may or may not have included the currently elected prosecutor of Delaware County, who would go out, he had some buddies from college that would always celebrate Christmas Eve's Eve, and we would always go out and have a good evening on the night before, and I miss doing that. It's been a long time since I've done that, but we are here. I'm here with you, my new bestest favorite friends. Here's the thumbnail, a beautiful looking thumbnail, Christmas Eve's Eve 2024. Happy Christmas from the Political Spotlight. Doesn't that nice little scene there look all nice? That's my grandparents' formal room and their beautiful Christmas tree. I took that picture. Last year, I think. Last year or the year before, but I liked how the light outside, it had snowed, and the light, there's a hill in front of the house way up, and so when it snows out there, it kind of gives it a nice little backdrop. So I like the blue coming in through the window, and how the rest of the lights are there. So yeah, it's Christmas time. It does not feel like Christmas time. Does it not feel like Christmas time to anybody else? Like, I kind of think that that's the thing that everybody says, like, every year is like, oh, it doesn't feel like Christmas time. And that's like a kind of a trope that people get into, but for real, it seems like it's like September or maybe October, maybe. It does not feel like it's Christmas time. There's just some kind of big disconnect, and it just seems so strange. And then I heard on the radio today that it's going to be 60. They were like, well, there's no chance of a white Christmas. And they were talking about it being 60. by like Thursday or Friday. And I thought, now that is my kind of Christmas. No snow. I always like the movies where they do Christmas like in Hawaii or in like California, and they've got the palm trees wrapped with lights. I've always kind of liked that idea. That would be kind of cool. So I'm here for it. Hey, listen, if you're here and you're on a social media platform, which if you're watching or listening to this, you are on some form of social media, be it YouTube or Facebook or X or something like that, please do us a favor and do all of the things that you know you're supposed to do. Hit the like, hit the bell. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so. Click all the buttons and bells and whistles, do all of that fun stuff. Share the show with everyone you know. And if you're interested in staying up to date on information or getting the information that we talk about here early, sometimes I will post things that I'm going to talk about in the evening on the shows. I'll post things earlier in the day. So if you're interested in following us on any of that stuff, then you need to connect with us on these social medias right here. Facebook is being a major pain in the ass for me right now. About every other day, it's telling me that I've posted too much. I'm posting too much. So it's not allowing me to share the information. So by the time I get to the evening time to do the show and share the show in the different places that I do, it's telling me that I can't do that because I've shared too much throughout the day. So that's that's rather unfortunate nonsense. So I'm not a big fan of that. Facebook is really being a hindrance as of late. That kind of sucks. So I'm trying to figure out how to get past this. I guess it's a good thing we've got the 2 Facebook pages, but I guess we'll figure it out. So for any of you that are watching this, absolutely. Yeah, I see that, Les. For any of you that are watching this, if you're in any of the Delaware County groups, if you're interested, please share the show. It's not going to be anything major tonight. Basically, everything is shut down politically, government-wise. Things are shut down. We are now definitely on autopilot and will not be back until after the new year. So unfortunately, I've always thought that this should be a time where I take like 2 weeks off, but I have a really hard time doing that. Even when it's painful and I don't have like a great, like long, big thing to talk about and to go on about for as long as the show normally is, I would much rather just sit here and babble about nothing and talk to you until you guys start dropping off, rather than like say, all right, well, we'll be back in 2 weeks. I just don't feel like doing that. I'm always like, oh, they won't return. They won't remember me, So we're here. I did send out a couple things. I did send out Alva says 71 Wednesday, 76 Thursday, 80 on Friday down in Louisiana. That's crazy. Kate says, usually making Christmas candy slams it home for me that it's the season, but this year it just doesn't feel Christmassy. Yeah, right. That's what I'm telling you. Literally everybody is saying that. And I outside of even the yearly trope of it doesn't feel like Christmas this year. It just really doesn't. It's like it's it's got something to do with the whole Mandela effect. We went through, we're in a different timeline kind of thing. I don't know. It just seems like we're in September here. I don't know. Very strange. So I did, kind of in political news, I did send out a couple of emails that are of interest for you people, are of interest here. Something that I would definitely talk about over the on the show, over the if I ever received correspondence. This morning, I sent an email to the mayor of Muncie. I sent it to the mayor of Muncie, to the communications director of the city of Muncie, to all 9 of the Muncie city councilors, and to the city council attorney. And the email was titled Press Release. And I just say, today is Monday, December 23rd, 2024. It's been 5 days since George Foley was placed on administrative leave back on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. And it's been 3 days since he was terminated back on Friday, December 20th. I don't know if I said that. Placed on administrative leave back on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. And it's been 3 days since he was terminated back on Friday, December 20th, 2024. And the administration has still not released any statement on this. There's not been a press release sent out, and I'm just wondering why that is. The last 2 times a city employee, or better, an employee of the administration, was placed on leave, the Ridenour administration released a statement within hours of the word breaking. With Foley's first time back in October of 2022, and with Dustin Clark back in April of this year. So why is this situation different? Will a statement or press release be coming? I'll remind Ridenour of his campaign's promise to improve communication, improve transparency, and improve accountability. Just an FYI. So I sent that out today, and lo and behold, I did not get an email. I did not receive a phone call. I didn't receive a press release. Nothing. There was nothing sent out today. Nothing at all. Hey, Cheryl McKinney, you're here. Did you attend the police officer, the public safety deal in Anderson today, by chance? I'm interested. I'm interested now specifically because it came into my mind, but I have not looked. I guess I'll have to look. Ha ha ha. Okay. Well, of course they did. Was there any reasoning to why they've done that? Now, this is interesting. Was there any reason they moved it to January 13th? Did they say that? Did they say why? Nothing that I've been told. Well, I'm just going to say it could be nothing, or it could mean that he is somehow attempting to fight this. So it could mean nothing, or it could mean he is now attempting to fight the termination. So that's interesting. So I don't know. Let me see here if there's anything. page here. Let me get on the city's Facebook page here. City of Muncie Communications, City of Muncie. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. The City of Muncie has not posted. Yeah, we've got something from the 19th, the Redevelopment Commission meeting, which we will look at that maybe a little bit because we've not talked about the Redevelopment Commission meeting. They released on the 19th, they released a press release about the Tillotson Avenue ordeal with the road construction thing that seems like it's going on forever. And then nothing. They sent an updated sanitary district trash pickup deal. And then 10 hours ago, they shared Merry Christmas from the City of Muncie. Vote for your favorite department's holiday decorations by liking their photo. Departments are listed in the photo caption. Winner will be announced on Thursday, December 26th. And, they've got Public Works, Building Commissioner, IT, City of Muncie Fire Department, Sanitary District, City Clerk, Muncie Animal, Prairie Creek Reservoir Park. Okay, whatever. So that's fun. And then they've got a community update holiday edition. Well, this ought to be fun. Let's listen to this. We'll listen to this in a second. Let me answer the question from Carrie McFadden. What role does the FOP have in the decision? Does the union have to approve also? So, no, okay, so the FOP, the union represents the officer. So generally, for example, let's look at a situation where there's an officer involved shooting. Okay. Let's take this molesting officer out of the picture for a moment. Let's talk about, for example, if this was like Indianapolis and there was an officer involved shooting and you have a bunch of people in the community that are saying, wait a minute, this wasn't good, shoot, and blah, 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 and things like that. And they're out to get the officer. So if there's an officer involved shooting, and it doesn't matter if it's a one-horse town, it doesn't matter if it's New York, whatever the deal is, when there is a situation like that, the officer is placed on administrative leave and they investigate and everything's done like that. Even in the best situation, and I say that meaning no officer involved shooting is ever good. You don't want that to happen. You hope it doesn't have to happen. But if there is a situation, and let's say, for example, you've got some guy that is out terrorizing people and he has guns and he's been shooting at people. Maybe he's hit a couple in the arm. I mean, it's Christmas time, so we're not going to get graphic and kill people. So let's just say that he's wounded some people in the arm and the police show up, and it's definitely a legitimate reason for an officer to use firearms to attempt to stop the threat. And they shoot the guy and they put him off on administrative leave while they're investigating it and going through the motion. And there's still people in the community that's like, they should have tased him. They should have shot him with water guns first or something like that. The FOP would step up behind the officer and be like, we're here. We support you. We have your back. If the officer needs an attorney, they would help pay for that. And they are there to back and support the officer. That's their job. That's their duty. In this situation, where we have an officer that has been accused of, something that is a heinous situation like this. Now, I have to say, in all fairness, I have not reached out to the FOP over there. This is going to sound cold. Like, I get a lot of people that like contact me and want me to talk about police related things. I generally don't talk about police related things. I don't talk about like, just like, oh, there was a murder last night, or, there was a sexual assault or a home invasion. I just don't talk about that. Normally this is a politically driven show. Now, there are things that happen. Like, for example, Muncie had a triple homicide a year and a half ago. And I talked about that for a couple of days because it had everybody riled up and it was a community interest piece. So I talked about it, talked about what was going on. There are certain police things that cross into the political domain. So I'll talk about it. This is certainly one of those things that's like, yeah, this is a big enough deal. This needs to be talked about, but I didn't reach out. I'm not doing like what I would with regular stories on this. So because the guy needs fired. No one needs to support him. Everyone needs to let this turd go and charge him. I'm hearing that there are people that are saying, but he was a really good guy. He was a really good cop, So I know that there are people out there that are trying to support this turd. Like, I've got no room for that. Like, he's innocent until proven guilty. He should be treated like that, like he's innocent until proven guilty. I guess by bigger people than because I look at him and saying, if you're in a situation in which this is what's going on and it's not a setup and it seems like that's, you get it, man. I'm sorry about that. So I haven't reached out to any of those people. I assume in this case, the FOP's like, we don't want anything to do with this. We just want this to go away. They don't have to agree to the firing or whatever. They don't have to like it. They might like it. They might not. I don't know. I don't know how they feel, but their role would be limited. I mean, all they would really do is if they would support the officer, they could show up and support him. They could help him, pay for attorneys. They could provide him with an attorney, something to that effect. But as far as this public works, public safety board meeting that Anderson's having, that's all there is. And I don't want to read into the fact that it got continued. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they just said, hey, it's Christmas time. We didn't have enough time to like dive into this. And this is a pretty big situation. We don't want to get it wrong. So we're just going to continue it until a couple weeks after everything. So we have enough time to review everything. That's perfectly legitimate. Now, if he is like, wait a minute, I want to review my options. I want to see what my situation is. That is a perfectly legitimate reason for this. I wish they would have stated what the reason for the continuance was. I might try to see if I can find out what that is, try to reach out. I'm not going to hear anything tomorrow. Obviously, it's Christmas Eve. I'm not going to hear anything the next day, and I doubt I'll hear anything else this week. Everywhere's like, yeah, we're closed Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday. No one's coming back in Thursday. After when the Christmas holiday hits, it's no man's land until the 2nd or the 3rd. And that's just how that is in government. So as soon as I possibly can find out why they continued this, I will try to find that out and let everybody know. But as of now, I've not heard any reasoning or whatever. And I've not even heard. Carrie, let me ask you this. Did you ask that question because you've heard something about the FOP, or were you just playing devil's advocate? Let me ask you that. Do you know something about the FOP maybe getting involved in this? Have you heard something? I'm not saying that you have. I'm just maybe you had heard something like that. I don't know. while we are waiting for an answer here, I'm getting ready to we'll once we figure out what if Carrie answers here, we will get ready and play this community update. It's only a few minutes from the city of Muncie, from the mayor, and I'm sure that no, I just know a lot of the cops and was just wondering. Okay, yeah, that's I hear you. I get it. Yeah, it just all comes down to really what their thought of this is. I know cops that have been accused of things that they did not do before, and the FOP really stood up behind them. I know there have been times where officers have got the raw end of the deal, and the FOP didn't stand up. And I was like, man, I really wish they would have stood up, but they didn't, and that sucks. And then I've known situations where cops have been accused of pretty horrible shit, and the FOP has been like, man, this guy's a good guy, but you don't know the whole story. You don't know why he did this. You don't, and it's like, save it, bro. Save it. Like, you guys can go over and have all the hot dog roasts that you want and drink all the beer you want, but this guy's got to go. So I don't know the situation in this. I'll find out as soon as I can and let everybody know. Okay. So back to the city of Muncie. This is I'm figuring that because this is look, hey, it's 3 minutes. He figured that he could give us like 4 minutes of his time. This guy really knows how to improve communications. He's really improving accountability and transparency. He is got it locked in
today.
Let me tell you. And I imagine, I would imagine that it's in this 4-minute blurb where he's going to tell us something about everything currently going on, crazy in the administration. I imagine we're going to hear something about the contract that he signed with Dustin. I imagine we're going to hear something about terminating someone that was on paid leave, George Foley. So let's listen to hear what Dan has to say.
Are you going to say anything about the filter?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it goes off here in a minute.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, let's hear what happens, and then we'll talk about that.
Just so you know, City Hall is closed. Today is Monday. It's the 23rd of December.
Thank God.
We are closed for the holiday on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday and Friday. But first of all, I want to just say there's a number of things going on. I just kind of want to let people know what some of them are. One would be the crew construction.
There's a number of things going on. I want to let you know what some of those things are. That is a truer statement has never been made.
Has their townhomes going up. Those are on North Walnut Street, just north of downtown, right across from Muncie Central. There are 7 townhomes going up. Those they plan on putting up for sale. They're across the street and diagonal from the YMCA that's going also under construction. So we're real excited to see that move forward. A good local company.
Did he forget that Central's right across the street? It's almost like they don't even remember that Central's there.
Doing a lot of good things here and in Central Indiana. So we're proud that they've partnered with us on those particular townhomes. Good. In addition to that, we have what we call the point piece. It's the entryway, the gateway coming across.
The point piece, the gateway that's in downtown. It's the gateway. When you think of a gateway, like this is. In all fairness, I've heard this, so I know what he's going to say here. But all right, when you think of a gate, I mean, let's just kind of walk through this for a minute. Like, this is a good example. Let me show you right here.
Heroes Bridge.
Okay, so here's a fence. All right, here's a fence. So the point of this fence is to like keep people out. So imagine there's some people over here. They can't get into this area here because there's a fence. Or for example, if there were people in here and they wanted to get over here, they couldn't get over because, well, there's a fence. Now, if you look down here in this area, there is a gate that opens. So a gate is normally something that is in the fence that opens and allows you to enter. So generally when you hear like a gateway to the city, or like, you know, the gateway to the west or whatever, you're imagining like something at the border, which like allows you to enter through. And it's normally in this fashion, it's used to like say, look, you're entering the city of Muncie. This is not a gateway to the city. It is something that is dead smack in the center of the city. This is just and this is such a minor thing like that I'm picking on him about, but it just goes to show you they're so caught up on all of these flashy little nothing. This is nothing. Yeah, when this is done, it's going to look nice. It's going to be wonderful. And you can take your dog there to shit in the grass. And you can sit there and you know, 99.9% of all Munsonians will never be affected by it in any way. They won't think about it when they drive by it. They'll never use that park. You know, very few people out of the everyone that'll ever see it or drive by it will ever utilize it anyway. But they get so excited about this because they're like, look, we're doing something. See, we're doing it. I told you we'd do it. We're doing it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. And it's like, yeah, but you know, in 60 years time, it's like, it's not going to make any difference. They're going to be like, who did that point piece? Mayor Bunch or Mayor Ridenhour, or Mayor Brady, or Mayor Tyler. Like, they're not going to have a clue who did it, and it's not going to matter. And so I wish he'd stop focusing on all these little trinkets and all these little things that he's doing. And I really wish he would focus on the real shit that matters, like repairing the roads, figuring out what's going on with the Southway Plaza. Stop. You know, just stop with the nonsense and get down to real live business.
Bridge off of Wheeling.
Now, I also want you to hear what he says here. Listen to where he says this is.
Heroes Bridge off of Wheeling Way, coming across Heroes Bridge off of Wheeling. In addition to that, we have what we call the point piece. It's the entryway, the gateway coming across Heroes Bridge off of Wheeling.
This bridge up here that you see, it's just a bridge on Wheeling. It basically turns from Wheeling into High Street. And they called this bridge Heroes Bridge. But Ridenhour, for some reason, calls it, at least he slipped there and called it Hewo, which I'm going to call it from the rest of forever. It's Hewo's Bridge. Matter of fact, I commented in the comments and I was like, Hewo's Bridge? And I spelled it out to where it was actually Hewo instead of hero. I just love it. Again, that's just me kind of being an asshole. But this nice little point piece is just across from Hewo's Bridge.
That has also begun construction, as you can see. There are, that'll be a nice public space. There's a big pipe underneath it. And so we're not able to ever put anything as far as a building under there.
Now, that I got to stop you there, Dan. This is so stupid. All right, let's listen to this again. So, all right, first of all, I want you to look at this, okay? So, look at this real quick. And while we're listening to him, I want you to hear what he says here.
That'll be a nice public space. There's a big pipe underneath it. And so we're not able to ever put anything as far as a building under there on top of it. So, but that'll be a nice piece, which will have a lot of greenery, some seating areas, and a nice little Muncie and a nice entryway into our downtown area. So we're excited about that. Also, seating areas and a nice little Muncie and a nice entryway into our.
It'll be a nice little Muncie and a nice little entryway. I don't. Is he having a stroke?
Downtown area, so we're excited about that. Also, Store Estates, they have 4 houses under construction. They've got at least one of the foundations is in, the others they're digging out and doing, but they have 4 houses that are going up. So we're real excited that D.R. Horton is here and provide those opportunities for those who are looking for a new house inside the Muncie city limits in a brand new subdivision called Store Estates, which also has a new city park called Store Woods Park. So a nice little development there. We're happy to see that is moving forward as well. And then also Fire Station number 6, which is on MLK over at McCullough Park. That foundation is now in, and we should start seeing the building going up vertically in the next few weeks. So we're happy to see that go forward and very appreciative of the fire department. And they'll be moving from the building, which is about a quarter mile north of there. They'll be moving out of that building into the new one once it is finished in the next, they plan on having this finished by the end of 25. So we'll have that move, and that will be great for our community to have that new fire station there. There are a couple other things that you can, as you are having your own holidays.
Now, really quickly, I've let this play, or we'll just let this play on out. All right, listen to the rest.
Don't forget that the lights at Gresham, they run every evening all the way through the 29th of December, and that is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's a great spectacle and quite the light show. So if you have the opportunity, you want to drive through, that would be a great thing to do. And I guess lastly, we'll just say that on behalf of all the City of Muncie employees and we'll say the sanitary district as well, I want to just say have a Merry Christmas. And the next time we chat will be the first week of January. So it'll be 2025. So we hope it's been a good year for you, and we hope you have a great Merry Christmas.
Okay, so he decided not to say anything of importance. He decided not to say anything anybody cared anything about. He had nothing about any of the important shit, nothing about all the craziness going on within his administration. He's not offering any kind of hope for like a better future. He's just, I don't know. Okay, so now I want to take you back. Just so weird, some of the shit that he says and does. And just so, he's just so weird. All right. I want you to listen to this.
A lot of good things here. Public space. There's a big pipe underneath it. And so we're not able to ever put anything.
Okay. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to show you this picture. Okay. So here's the picture. All right. Here's the picture of, here's High Street. Here's High Street Bridge. You know, okay, so here's this, and there's a big pipe underneath it, apparently.
That has also begun construction, as you can see. There are, that'll be a nice public space. There's a big pipe underneath it, and so we're not able to ever put anything as far as a building under.
Okay, so Dan Ridenauer is letting us know that in 2024 that we're basically looking into 2005. We've got this area here that we're never going to be able to put anything on it because there's a pipe that runs underneath it. But then what I want to show y'all right now is this picture from 2007 where there's actually a building on that land back in the past. And so it's just interesting to me that This kind of like America and going to the moon. You know, we could get to the moon in 1969, but we don't currently have the ability to get to the moon in today. So that's always been something that's been confounding to me. And this is like one of those things. We were able to have a building on this land with a big pipe under it today or in the past, but we're not able to put a building on this land today into the future. So that's really strange to me. And I thought that was interesting. I also, just really quickly before we move on from the mayor's wonderful speech here, really the most exciting time of all of this is this right here. I want you to listen to this. It's just interesting to me that, oh, you didn't get to hear that. Sorry. That was privately just for me. Sorry. Hold on. Here, I'll let you guys hear how excited he gets right here. All right, listen. This is the most excited that Right at Hour gets during the whole time.
Begun construction, as you can see. There are that'll be a nice public space. There's a big pipe underneath it, and so we're not able to ever put anything.
Of course, Right Now gets excited talking about the big pipe underneath the ground. So there's that, and we heard that. So there's nothing about the Right Now administration and the whole ordeal. You know what's also weird? Like, we keep focusing on the negative. Like, we're focusing on the fact that they terminated a guy and they're not talking about it. And there's this really weird, crummy, very questionable, basically not valid contract with Dustin. And that's a negative. And like they had to get rid of Ivy and find someplace else for him to go because they couldn't fund it. And Steve Selvey's leaving. But where's the press release on the fact that they've hired a gung-ho contract employee ready to do good work? He's not even announced that they've got Dustin back working for him. You know, the last announcement he made was Dustin was leaving. Now, they've never announced that Dustin's back officially, so that's weird. Are they going to announce that we have a new building commissioner ever at any point? Like they announced that Steve Selvey's gone come the 31st. But are they going to ever tell us that his replacement's here and that his replacement has been working for the city for the last several weeks? Thank God that they were able to squeeze him in and pay him another man's salary, because that man was fired for being sexually inappropriate to females that he was working with. One encounter was that he exposed himself while riding in a vehicle, a city-owned vehicle. Of course, we're never going to hear anything about that from the mayor or from the mayor's administration. So that's nice. But, you know, there is good news there that guy was able to go in and get trained, and now he's going to be the new not communications director. I'm so used to saying the new communications director for the city of Muncie because they've had like 5 or 6. He's going to be the new building commissioner for the city of Muncie. And for the life of me, I can't remember his name. I did a post on it a while back, but I can't think of what his name is. Something Rawlings. Maybe Terry or Tony or Tim. Let's find out. No. It's here we're really close. Yeah, right here it is Richard Rawlings. Richard Rawlings. So, to me, that's a good thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know why the Right Now administration finally has someone that's willing to work and do a good job in the communications director's office, but they don't allow it to happen. The city of Muncie used to put out press releases, sometimes 2 or 3 a month, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. And I can't tell you the last press release the communications director has put out. Very strange. So that's that. Before we move on, is there anything else from the city of Muncie? No, I think that's it. Okay. Moving on really quickly to Delaware County. I got to talk about this. Delaware County, as we've been talking about basically everything being wrapped up until the end, until after the new year. That's true basically for everything and everywhere, except Delaware County does have a special meeting this coming Monday, the 30th, in the commissioner's chambers on the 3rd floor of the old Delaware County building downtown. And I don't know exactly what all is going to be discussed at the meeting. One of the things that I know will be discussed, and what the main reason, in my opinion, of the meeting will be the fact that they are wanting to deal with the ARP money, the interest from the ARP money. And so that's going to be an interesting thing. There's going to be a special meeting Monday, December 30th. It's a commissioners meeting, not a council meeting. I've had some people ask me. It's going to be a commissioners meeting. My question will be, will King be there? That'll be interesting. It will deal with the ARP interest ordinance. They are instituting an ordinance to take the money out of the county general fund. All right. And this is money that should be in the county general fund. It's not the principal money. It's not the ARP money. It is interest being made on that. And along with any other thing, anytime there's a situation like that, the interest always goes to the general fund. And so this should be no different. However, the commissioners really have something in mind, and they do not want to let this money go. And that's very interesting. Also, it's interesting to see Shannon Henry kind of take the lead and be like, we're doing this and pushing back against Matt Kantz, because it's always been James King. So with King gone and with Brand coming in, it's going to be real interesting. I want to know, to me, it seems like that Brand and Henry are going to have a very adversarial relationship. But Brand likes to try to keep things as smooth as possible and, just, do what he does. I think that he's really good about that, but it's going to be interesting to see how those two dynamics play out. I don't know, because Henry is getting more and more brash, more and more. He's willing to, speak up, and he's realized that he's going to have to be the leader now that King is gone. So it's going to be interesting. And it's really strange what they're doing with this money, because I mean, we're talking about a large amount of money, and it's just really strange. I don't know, just very, very strange. So I'm going to be there at the meeting. It's a meeting that we will live stream here. This is a meeting that people really should get interested in. And I know it's right in the middle of all the holiday celebration, but if you're off work, we have a lot of people off because of the holidays. And if you're one of those people that happens to be off on Monday, the 30th, you ought to come on down to the Delaware County Commissioners meeting and watch. Even if you're not willing to speak, even if you don't know about, what side of this you fall on, at least coming down and listening, and then, being able to kind of stand in solidarity with the whatever side speaks, for if you decide which side you agree with, that can be a big thing. And I'm going to tell you, the council is going to need every bit of the help they can get here. I'm telling you, I am on the council side in this fight. The commissioners do not need that money. The council needs that money. And what's funny to me is, and we've already heard it, you heard it at the last commissioners meeting when Matt Kant stood up and was talking to Shannon Henry. Kant said, look, you're not taking it from me. You're not taking it from us. If you take this money and you do this, you're taking this from the Delaware County employees. And Henry's just completely out of touch statement was, I told you I was going to take it. I told you. We told you what was going to happen. I can't believe that you would budget with this money. I don't know what you were doing budgeting with this money in the first place. That's on you. So that's that's a very weird statement. Politically astute people would say that a little bit differently, but he's like, you've got someone saying, listen, if you take this money, Shannon, you're going to be taking it away. If you take this money, Mr. Scrooge, you're going to be taking it away from Tiny Tim. And Scrooge is saying, well, that's Tiny Tim's fault for being alive, damn it. And it's like, what? Maybe he'll be visited by 3 ghosts tonight, and he'll have a better, or tomorrow, whenever, and he'll have a better opinion come on the 30th. But that was a weird way that he responded. He's like, it's your fault. You did it. You're the one taking it from those people, not me. You should have told him it existed. Now, Kate has asked a question, and a lot of people have. I've been emailed about this and text about this a couple times, not specifically about this meeting, but just about a couple of things, because the Delaware County government and City of Muncie does the same thing. I imagine a lot of places do this. Now, most places are sticklers for what it is. And I think that's kind of neat, because what you'll see ceremonies on New Year's Eve where people are going and being sworn in who are taking office, at midnight on the 21st. And like in big cities like, New York, Chicago, they have these ceremonies where, the changeover elected officials are there at like the courthouse, when at midnight getting sworn in, because that's technically when it is. Muncie and Delaware County doesn't do that. They've always done this thing where they've officially sworn the people in, a week or two beforehand, and Delaware County obviously did that. They went ahead and swore in all of the new elected officials, Book Out and Brand and every, re-swore in all of the people who, retained office and whatever. And so the question is, well, wait a minute, will he be able to vote? And the answer is no. He does. His power still does not start until the 1st. So it's just like preliminarily. It really, I mean, it's symbolic. It holds a lot of weight and a lot of importance. I mean, obviously, they're swearing the oath. And that is the oath that matters, and it's the oath that so many of these people, they, as soon as they say these words, those words they're hollow when they say them. They mean nothing. I mean, if I was ever at one of these things, and if I was ever someone swearing these people in, I would tell these people, listen to the words I am getting ready to repeat, and say these words with intention and meaning, and actually listen to each word that comes out of my mouth and each word that you say. And if for any reason you do not think that you have this, or you can do this, or you can live up to this oath, then do not stand here and swear it before me, and before God and before everyone else in this room. And it's just really gross that so many of our public servants do that, and it's really heartbreaking that it's like that. But I don't know. He does not. He will not power. Their power does not start. Their time does not start until the clock strikes midnight on the 1st. So that's that. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly was I talked to I talked to Eugene was sworn in. I'm pretty sure. That's no Space Cat. That's my bad. I have not. I will ask him after Christmas. I'll find out between Christmas and New Year. I'll text Brand and find out what the deal is. Maybe when I'll, because I normally send all these people like a message on Christmas saying, like, happy, whatever, sending them a message like a good wishes or whatever. I might say, hey, if you get a moment, or get a hold of me tomorrow, and I'll see if I can ask him, because that I am still interested in that, what the deal is with that long delay. So I will find that out. But yeah, I'm pretty certain, DC Swap Drainer, that Eugene was sworn in, and the rest of them that retained their office. I'm pretty certain that all happened. No, okay. So moving on to this last thing, I talked to Joshua Kimbrell's ex-wife a little bit before going live tonight, and because he's got court coming up really soon, and it's been weird because, like, so I hate talking about this. I can't wait till this guy goes and is just done, and I don't ever ever, ever have to think about him ever again. And he's just dealt with in the way that the court deems possible. But here's what's concerning, okay? So the other day, he had the final pre-trial hearing, and I think Kate or someone brought it up. And Danny was actually there at that hearing. And at that hearing, she said it was really strange because, first of all, she gets there. She was not there because of the hearing. She didn't even know they were having a hearing. She was there because at that point, they still had not done anything with her divorce that they had been over with for like months, a month or more at least. So she went up to find out like what the hell was going on. And then they're like, oh, let me put that in right now. And then that's when she was like, all right, I'm officially divorced. Well, as she was leaving the courthouse, she ran into Dave Dowley, the prosecutor. And he was like, hey, are you here for the hearing? And she was like, no, what hearing? And she's like, well, Josh has his last hearing. And she was like, oh, well, okay, let me know how that goes. And because she just thought kind of like I thought that it would be like kind of done in the chambers and it would be like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And he's like, well, if you have a moment, I'd like to sit down with you. And so he sits down and he goes over the final plea offer that they're going to ask Kimbrell if he's interested in taking. And the plea deal that Dowley reads to Danny is horrible. It's not good. It's like, Josh doing very little time and basically like, them dropping the F1 and, it just being ridiculous. So Danny was mad, was upset about that. And she was like, this is not okay. Like, no one's to ask me about this. I can't get a hold of you guys. I don't understand what's going on. So they sat there and they reworked and Dowley, to his credit at that point, I guess, reworked the plea that he was going to go in and offer Josh more or less based off what she said she wanted. And so he goes in and she goes in, they get there and they've got to wait. So the judge is not there in the courtroom. The judge is ringing through via phone because he is in like Grant County or something. Grant County or Hartford City, one of the two. And so the judge calls in and he's like, are we ready to begin? And the bailiff is starting to turn on the WebEx camera so they can see Josh from jail. And Josh's defense attorney says, no, he's not going to be there. We have requested that he be transported here for this. And everybody's like, what? Why? This is not going to take any time. And his defense attorney was like, well, because, he asked to be here. We want him to be here for this. So they ended up having to wait like a good long little while about, before they could get started because he hadn't been transferred over. So he finally gets there and they're in there for just a very short time. Josh refused to take the plea deal. So, okay, well, that means they should be going to trial, right? They've got a trial date. Jackie, that's a good question. I will get back to that question right after this deal with Kimbrell. I appreciate you asking that. So she's, they're in there and she's thinking like they're going to say like, okay, because they've got the trial date set here. January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 3 days. And so he refuses to take the plea deal. And then they're like, okay, well, so we're going to be ready for trial then the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, right? And Josh's attorney says, no, Your Honor, I have a conflict of interest on the 22nd. I'm not going to be able to be here. I need to get this continued. And the judge said, no, I told you that there was no more continuances. We're going on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Well, I don't know exactly what ended up happening, but at the end of the day, he got his continuance for the 22nd, which in my opinion really pisses me off because the judge told him, no, have your shit taken care of. We are going to be ready to rock and roll the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th. So the compromise they came up with, and look, I understand in life sometimes you have to compromise, but this is like the third time this man has pulled this shit. And the judge is now, I mean, you know, the reason he knows he can pull it is because the judge does this. So, you know, that's concerning to me. Well, they said, well, here's what we'll do. We will give you your continuance for the 22nd, and we will have court on the 23rd and the 24th. And instead of us going from 9 o'clock, you know, on the 23rd and getting out at 4, we will go from 8 o'clock until like 6 or whatever, 6 or 7 at night. And then the next day, we'll be here until the jury gets the case. So, like, if it goes late into the evening, they'll be there late into the evening. Now, I don't see the need for this case to take more than 2 days. So I think that that's a legitimate, it's legitimate, you know, that they could get it done in 2 days. But then reading the notes from that hearing, I'm very concerned. It says special judge body appears by phone to conduct final pretrial conference. State appeared by Dave Dowley. Defendant appeared in person and by counsel Sam Beasley. State will file amended information today. Now keep that in mind. State will file amended information today. Jury trial will remain set for 22nd, 23rd, 24th. However, counsel for defendant has conflict on the 22nd. If jury trial proceeds, the court will conduct a jury trial on January 23rd and 24th, I guess from 8:30 to 5 or 6 rather than 4 p.m. Jurors should be aware of the extended hours for this case. Counsel for defendant has 2 weeks in which to consider and or file plea agreement or request continuance if needed. Defendant is ordered to appear for jury trial or warrant be issued. So there's that. So this looks like it's setting it up for there to be still yet again another continuance. So I'm going to tell you, I strongly believe that Josh's court case will not go in January. I very much believe there will be another full continuance, and it will be maybe February or March before we are in court. Okay. So just have that prepare yourself to not have this hearing, this court case proceed on the 23rd. It's supposed to start on the 22nd. It's already being continued for that. And I just don't understand. I wrote an email to Dave Dowley's office literally right before going live, asking him what in the bloody hell's going on. Why does it seem like Josh is pulling the strings here on every single thing that's happening? Because that's exactly what it seems like. That is exactly what it seems like. And I can't say who or what exactly, but a very close source to the justice system in Randolph County contacted Danny and said, I don't know what the deal is, but it seems like Josh is getting preferential treatment here in the jail, and they're like basically doing whatever he wants. They're, that the sheriff is in his cell talking a lot, that they're down there communicating, and that it's just not normal. So I emailed Dowley and I was like, man, this does not seem like a legitimate situation to me. And I was like, I want to know, like, what is going on that it appears as though Josh is calling the shots. That should not be happening, so that's strange. So I just want to keep everybody up to date on that. Okay. Really quickly, Jackie coming in with the information for those of you that asked. She says the pictures that Eugene did not seem to appear to be present. And it doesn't matter if he wasn't, they'll get him. He will swear in. That they won't miss that. He's already sworn in whenever he came in, but they will get him. Maybe he had something come up, whatever, that's very, very possible. But they will get him. Now, Jackie then also asked any more information about the out-of-state mental health provider who has been selected to run the Delaware County Rehabilitation Center. I recall you recently sharing that one, WellPath, was declaring bankruptcy, 2, concern on how county was going to fund the ongoing professional rehab services. Well, I can let you know that is still very much a concern of various people in county government. I can tell you that I have heard that there are sources have claimed that there are counselors who are pushing heavy to finish building the building and then cutting everything off, leaving it at the building. And that there have been people who have said, well, then what do we do with the building? And the answer has been sell it. And I'm like, what? What are you going to sell a building that's on the property? Who are you going to sell a building to that's going to be on the property of the Justice Center? Now, I will tell you, obviously, there was I heard a good idea for this, but it would take a lot of remodeling because I don't think that they're not obviously building this facility for this need I'm getting ready to talk about. One person said, well, someone could buy it and turn it into office building spaces, and you could have attorneys buy specific offices out of the building. And then that could be their offices right there next to the to the court, because that's kind of the issue, right? Like for forever, this stuff was all downtown, right at the center of downtown. And so all of the buildings around City Hall and around the Justice Center and around the county building, everything out for blocks was offices that were owned or bought or rented by attorneys who set up their practices in these buildings. Well, now that the Justice Center has moved, this is one of the things that I was talking about. Was I was concerned because it seemed as if this would kill downtown, because you would have the attorneys who would be leaving the area to have to go to court, and then afterwards going somewhere else to eat. It would just I was really concerned with what it would do to downtown. Now, if a bunch of these attorneys stop renting these buildings downtown and move into this kind of complex that would be out at the Justice Center, that would again hurt these areas. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I know that there are a lot of people that hopes that this still goes. There are a lot of people that want this to be, ready and good. I will tell you, I drove by the Muncie City Crisis Center again. So I took pictures of the doorway and all that last week. I think on Saturday, maybe Friday or something like that. I drove by there. I drove by there on Saturday, Saturday or Sunday, one or the other. I was actually with my grandparents, and we drove by, and the UPS stickers were off the doorway when I had taken the picture. Those UPS stickers were on. Someone had removed those. Don't know if that means they had been inside, but I know that they did remove those post-its, and it could very well have been the UPS there the next day that said, all right, we're doing whatever. So they removed it. So I know for a fact that that facility is still not up and running. That's what I said. We must have been there Sunday, because I said it won't be opening tomorrow. I know that. So yeah, the crisis center is still in some kind of limbo. The Delaware County rehabilitation facility is still in some kind of limbo. Wellpath, I have not heard or seen anything that makes me think that their shit's together. It seems like they're all over the place, obviously. And I don't know. I certainly don't think that this promise to bring these two facilities, I don't think they look very promising. And man, the citizens of Muncie and Delaware County should be fired up about it. And of course, they're not, What up? Did you just get here? So that's happening. I know that there is seeing Stumblefoot there. I know that there is a lot of talk about what's going on 12th Street there at the old Kennedy, not Kennedy. What library was that? Wasn't Kennedy. It's the old library right there next to the coffee shop. And in between the old library and the coffee shop and the gas station, that place where they were going to put in the homeless houses and some kind of rehab facility or something. I know that's being pushed forward a little bit more. I know Ridenauer was talking about getting some kind of approval for something they were doing. So that's obviously going to be starting soon. But again, like Charlize always says, it's a bunch of announcements that Dan does. But then very often he makes these announcements and then nothing ever comes of it. And months later, we're halfway through a project that's like still up in the air and no one really knows. And then it just fizzles out. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe about the deal there on 12th Street. I guess time will tell. I've been in the way of trying to get, correspondence with people. I know a bunch of people have said reach out to Mike. And so I've done that, and I guess time will tell if I get a response or not. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, as Kate said, with the situation with the Muncie Crisis Center and everything that's going on with that, and the situation with the Delaware County Rehab Facility, this is what happens when you have, in my opinion, I mean, we're a large city county, and you have these two big entities out here, just willy-nilly making different plans and doing different things, but then not talking to one another, and it definitely leads to disaster. So that's that. Yeah. So, well, the daily email that I was sending Dan, the main reason of the daily email was the contract for Dustin Clark. Now, they sent me that contract on the 18th, but I haven't sent specifically a daily email since he sent it to me, but I have sent an email like once every couple of days. I'm still tracking him on what's going on with repairing the roads, specifically the road from the bypass up to Broadway up McGalliard, East McGalliard. So I am still sticking to him on that, and I have several other questions that I am also asking him. Once we get through the holiday season, once we get into next year, the first of the year, I will go back to the, I will plot out some new questions. One of those questions being what's happening with McGalliard, and we will see what we can do. So, yeah. It's really frustrating. Just witnessing what all is going on versus what all's not going on, what they're doing versus what they're not doing, and how they go about being public servants. They just aren't. And it's really, really frustrating. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. I know this was kind of a weird show. Didn't have much to talk about, but it's the Christmas Eve, so here we are. I want to wish you all a very, very, very happy Christmas. Hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful time with your family and your friends and all of the loved ones. We will not be live tomorrow night. I will pop on at some point to, tell everybody some kind of Christmas cheer thing or whatever. So I will pop on at some point, but it'll just be for a few moments. Might do something on TikTok, but I'll definitely reach out to you tomorrow. And I hope all of you have a very good Christmas Eve. Hope all of you have a very good Christmas. Remember what it's all about. That's the number one thing. And spend time with family, friends, and your loved ones. We will not be here. We will not be here tomorrow. That's Tuesday, the 24th. We will not be here Christmas. That's Wednesday, the 25th. And then we will be back on Thursday, the 26th. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great day tomorrow. And take care of yourselves. And we will see you all on Thursday. And then I'll be around tomorrow. But watch social media. If you want to keep updated over the Christmas break here, the couple days that I'll be off, follow us there. That's the best way to stay involved, stay up to date, and we'll let you know. You guys have a good one. Be sure to click the like on your way out the door. Don't make me send Krampus after you instead of Santa Claus. That would be bad. And okay, well, good night. God bless, and see you Thursday.